What is going on, guys? Hey, I wanted to come back to you and bring you a clip from one of Dr. Phil's shows from last week. He's talking to people about defunding the police. But hey, look, guys, if you would, please like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
Safer. When we're talking about a society where 1 in every 1,000 black men can expect to be killed by law enforcement, we have not made progress. When we talk about a society where black folks...
Okay, 1% of every 1% of every 1,000. That's like 0.1%. Number one. Number two, maybe, just maybe, the reason why those numbers are there like that is because of them committing the crimes. You know, I mean, one out of every 1,000 black men can be expected to be killed by police. Really? Okay. So just random 1 out of every 1,000. Okay. No, I don't think so. I think it has to do with whether or not they're criminals. You know, if you're going out there committing crimes, you have a higher chance of getting killed by police. I mean, I'm just saying. If you're committing crimes, you run the risk of getting killed by police. You know, it's kind of like that guy in Houston, last Friday, that robbed people at gunpoint at some kind of a taco shop or something, in Houston, Texas. And again, the cops didn't kill him, but a person and a customer in there shot and killed him. And again, people are all over Twitter saying how that guy should be in jail and whatever. It's like, again, no accountability, nothing about what the criminal did. Nothing about the fact the guy went in there and waving a gun around, robbing people at gunpoint. Nothing about that. We got to have the guy that saved people from being victimized. We're going to go after him. We're going to go after the police. So we're going to go after the people that actually make people safer. For the most part, I know there's a few bad apples. I get it. But we're going to go after the cops, the people that make us safer. No accountability whatsoever. We're not going to talk about the fact that these 1 out of every 1,000 guys are criminals. The majority of them are criminals. We're not going to talk about that. And again, man, if people like this woman, if they ran this country, I give it like 2 years and it'd be over. It'd be over, man.
In particular, make up the majority of people that are profiled, targeted, incarcerated by our criminal legal system. We are not talking about progress. Some things that I do want to address. Actually, there was not confusion about what defund means until law enforcement inserted that confusion. What I can say is that organizers, creators of this movement were always very clear that it was about redirecting resources to things that actually keep us safe.
Well, it might have been clear in the conference room. It might have been clear when y'all were meeting about it, but it wasn't clear on the streets. And it wasn't clear with all the people that took up the message and found a camera to stand in front of. Because I can show you 1,000 images that have the word abolish with defund. So the message got hijacked is my point.
When you're saying, suddenly we see people talking about abolish, well, defunding comes from an abolitionist perspective.
That's right.
Right? It is a long-term project that says, how do we create the conditions under which policing would not be necessary? And defund is the policy.
The only way that you would have conditions to where policing would no longer be needed is by changing the hearts of people, taking the anger out of their hearts. I mean, if one step in the right direction would be to tell people that they are personally responsible for what they do. Man, if you're not willing to do that, if you're not willing to go and say, you know what, you're committing crimes. You're committing these crimes. And you're blaming everyone else. Well, the police were too rough. Or I got too long of a sentence or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, man, tell people to stop committing the crimes they're committing. Stop defending them. Stop putting down the cops. Stop putting down the people that step in, like the Good Samaritans step in. Stop putting them down. Again, man, the only way you're going to do away with things is by taking the hate away from people. Taking hate out of their hearts. And again, the only way that you're going to start to move in that direction would be to hold people personally accountable for what they do. That's how they learn. That's how people learn.
In creating the conditions under which police would not be necessary. And that is the issue. That is the holistic issue. And people are creations of the society in which they live in. And if you are a society that has such massive inequality, and you are a society that is based on racial and gendered hierarchies, and you are a society that deprives people of the resources that they need to live, talking about housing, clean water, food, all of these things that are part of an equitable society. You're talking about people that will do desperate things in order to survive. And so you're not solving anything by arresting those people. You're not solving anything by shooting and killing.
You're not solving anything by arresting criminals. Just let them go. Just let them go. Make the country less safe. And and they're going to commit more crimes and worse crimes. No accountability. None. Killing
those people.
I agree with you 100% on society's failures about how that person became a criminal. My point is we also live in the here and now. And if someone invades my home and has my wife held hostage in the bedroom tonight,
Sure.
I don't give two about where they came from tonight. What I care about is a solution tonight. That doesn't mean that we don't need to solve the problem so my grandchildren don't get held hostage in their bedrooms 20 years from now. But when you say we don't need police because of developmental failures, that doesn't solve the problems that are occurring tonight, tomorrow night, the next night. Those things have to be dealt with.
I hear you. I truly, and I'm not being, I hear you. That is the fear that continues to drive us toward more policing.
No, that is the reality in which we live. That's not a fear.
Yes,
fear
is
the anxiety or anticipation of something that may happen. What I'm describing is something that is happening, and we have.
Yes, he's not talking about fear. He's saying that is happening. It's discernment. You got to make a choice. I mean, yeah, we don't care where the person came from, what their problem is, what their mental health situation is. Man, if you're in my house committing a crime, robbing my family, hurting me, yeah, I don't care. I don't care where you came from. I don't care what your problem is. I'm going to act accordingly. And that's what Dr. Phil's saying. People, we don't, talking about arresting the person doesn't help the person. I don't care. It's helping me. It's helping other people that are obeying the law. It's not all about that person. It's not all about the poor person, the poor criminal. It's not all about the poor criminal. Sometimes it's about the victims. Sometimes it's about the victims of the crimes that these criminals perpetrate. Sometimes that's that. But hey, look, guys, if you would, please like and subscribe.
You son of a